Okay, like I said, this is Friday night and everybody's had a great week, and we're going to do things called thoughts of inspiration, things to make you think. So, is what is what I don't understand as far as inspiration stuff goes and things to make you think are people who have to have to prove or claim they have an open mind. Those are the people that usually don't, which is really kind of ironic, I think, because I find that the more someone tells you they have an open mind or believe in one thing or do another or whatnot, are usually the people that are farthest off the mark. I think they're trying to convince themselves, which is fine. But if you have any comments to go with that, I would appreciate them as well. And it just keep an open mind, and the world can be a wonderful place. Close off your mind, and it can be a pretty dark place. That's not where anybody wants to be. And this is Friday night, and you're listening to Darrah on Radio Visions. Like I said, I'd like to welcome everybody here and appreciate everybody that's been tuning in for the last week, this week, and all week long listening to the previous recorded show. I appreciate that very much. I appreciate the people that are leaving me comments and signing up for the newsletter. And if you'd like to sign up for the newsletter, go to the Contact Us/newsletter page and put your email address in there, and once a month you'll get a monthly newsletter. And you'll probably learn about things that are coming up quicker than the people that will just wait and just read it online. So keep that in mind if you want to be one step ahead of the game. Sign up for the newsletter. And if you haven't taken the time to go through the whole website, please do so. We're adding some new things and trying some different stuff. So hopefully in the next few days we're going to be trying a few things that are different here and there, some advertising, and hopefully, like I said, send us the CDs and we'll get the music posted and going, and everything will just be beautiful. So like I said, tonight we are doing thoughts of inspiration, and another observation or thought that I had at one point in time was people who actually have an open mind. I consider these people true geniuses. If your mind's opened enough, you can do anything you want, accomplish anything, believe anything. It's just amazing what happens if you have an open mind. So, if you have any thoughts on anything that I'm saying tonight or anything else that you would like to add, just send me an instant message and I would be happy to relay that. So keep that in mind as well. Last week we did something different as well. I went through a deck of playing cards and kind of went over the meanings for everybody, because some people were a little off on that. I hope you all liked that. If you did, great. If we could do something like that again if you'd like, or similar anyway. But that's kind of what we're doing right now. This is all just freehand, just having some fun. Like I said, I would like to thank the people that have actually sent in CDs and music so far, and like I said, I'll try to get this posted as soon as I can. Like I said, tonight's topic is thoughts of inspiration. So, here's another one. This one I like really well. It says, look at life as a child does, and you'll never lose faith. That is so true. Children have a way of looking at things so differently than grown-ups. And I find that to be because when you're a child, everything's possible. And then the grown-ups send you to school and they teach you that nothing is possible unless it happens through steps like A, B, and C. And they have to happen, A, B, and C. So I feel for those people and always tell children to keep believing in the dreams they have, because dreams are really, really important. So I just remember when I was little that I always thought anything was possible And for the most part, I've done a lot of the things I thought were possible, even though other people told me they weren't. So that's one thing to think about and keep in mind is what your dreams are. Keep 'em going. Don't let no one tell you they're impossible. They may be hard, they may be difficult, they may drive you crazy, but they're not impossible. So just keep the faith and keep going with that. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Darrah on Radio Visions. And we'd like to welcome everybody. This is Friday, November 14th? No, November 13th, I'm sorry. And we're doing another live session. If you are into music, we are looking for musicians who would like to submit their original work for airing on Radio Visions. We're looking for music in the areas of new age and smooth or cool jazz for right now. You can submit other stuff if you'd like, and we will take it under considerations, but we would prefer the cool jazz and the new age for right now. Just go to the website and download the broadcasting form and fill it out and mail it back with a CD, and we'll get it all smushed together and put into the process and start broadcasting that. I'm hoping to get that done by midweek next week or this coming week. Like I said, I've got one or two items I can do that with, but I need a lot more people. I know that if we can get more, we can actually get music 24/7. That's our goal for right now. I would also like to suggest, I guess, that if you would like to advertise, contact us and we can work something out with advertising on Radio Visions and so on and so forth. We're still in the thinking stage on that, so just keep that in mind. There's nothing really set yet, but we are going to get some advertising posted on the website to try to help pay for things. So that's one thing. A little bit about me. And yes, I am a natural born psychic. I do have well over 30 years of experience in this given field. And I've seen a lot of things happen. I've seen a lot of things that I wish I would have never seen. But something that someone always asks me, and it never fails, especially after a party or a show, they always ask, do you see ghosts? Well, I don't know if you'd call them ghosts. I call them spirits, entities. Actually, I just, for the most part, call them people. And yes, I see them. Sometimes they talk to me, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're just standing there. Which, the ones that just stand there and do nothing are actually what I have classified as watchers. Now, watcher is an entity or a spirit, a person who attaches themselves to a living individual. And for what reasons, I have not figured this out yet, but they follow these people pretty much throughout their life. And they're not really a guardian angel. They just kind of watch over them and see what they do, I guess. It's just one of those kind of odd things that happens, but some people take comfort in knowing they have someone watching out for them. So if you should talk to a clairvoyant, a medium, psychic, and they say there's an entity following you, more times than not, this entity's not there to harm you. They're just there to have a good time, see what you're doing. Who knows? Maybe they're making plans for you when it's time. So, I always like to let people know, don't be wary. If you see that little shadow out of the corner of your eye, they're probably there for a reason, and usually a good reason. So, that brings me back to another observation or things to make you think that I always wondered about, is people that take time. You always have that one friend that has all these great and grand and glorious plans, but they're just taking time to do it. When the time is right, they're going to do it. Oh, I've always come to the same conclusion that a lot of you have out there is that taking too much time thinking about it, and you'll miss the journey, you'll miss the opportunity. So don't let that happen. Think about it, make sure it's right, but follow through. Because that journey sometimes is funner than the destination. And I know a lot of people that have missed out on a great many of things because they were too afraid. They've always told themselves, not now. Kids are too young, kids are too old, not enough money, too much money, no time off work, no work at all. But sometimes you just got to go for it and have some great times. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Darrah on RadioVisions. And we do want to thank everybody that's been participating so far. If you would like to ask questions or have mini readings done, just instant message me. Wow. You're on the web page anyway, and the instant messenger's right there. Why not use it? I would appreciate a couple things though if you do use the instant messenger, and that would be at the bottom of it where it says guest member or I am guest. Type a name in there. It can be your real name, it can be a make-believe name, but type some kind of name in there because it's a lot easier to work with you and communicate with you if I'm talking to Jamie or Steve or Sarah or Tommy versus AimGuest 2747. So keep that in mind as well. And if you've never used one that's already posted on a site, it's real easy. You just type your message in there and to send it, you hit enter and it sends it. And I'll get it right here and I'll converse with you and walk you through whatever you need to be walked through or make sure that life is there for you. And I'd also like to let people know that private readings I do are just that, private. I don't talk to other people about them and they don't talk to me, but it's just kind of fun. So keep that in mind, and like I said, we're just trying to get this thing up and running, and it's a slow pace so far. But it's working out, so that's one good thing. And here's another thing I've never understood about people's faith. And this is, like I said, these are just observations I've made over the years, and I've always wondered about them. So I'm gonna throw them out there, see what the world thinks. If you got some good things about them, throw them back at me. If you got some not so good things about them, throw those back too. I'd like to hear everything I can. So, on people's faiths or beliefs, why do you have to go to a certain place to be a believer or worship or whatnot? One's true faith isn't a place, in my opinion. It's what's within. It's what you believe. It's how you deal with it. I figured if you believe in God, Buddha, Muhammad, whoever, isn't that something that's inside you and not someplace you have to go once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever you think the appropriate time is? I've always wondered about that. I know many people enjoy going to church and temple and all that, and it's a great place to be with your friends and family. I understand that part of it, but I've always been told, well, that's what you do when you believe. And it's like, well, why can't you just believe and that be good enough? So just something to think about, something to wonder about. Like I said, this is all just random thoughts I've had over the years, and I just have jotted some of them down and so on and so forth. And if you're interested, I do have these in book format, pamphlet format. If you would be interested in getting a copy, please let me know, and I'll work something up and work something out. Because that's one thing I was going to do many years ago, was put this out in book form and just, call it thoughts of inspiration and things that to guide you through the days. You know how that goes. Some days are great and wonderful, and some days you feel kind of blah. So I was just wanting to give people something to make them think. Another thought I've had was that true acts of kindness are their own rewards. Because so many people nowadays, if someone says, hey, I need help, they always think, what's in it for me? Well, my thought was, if someone needs help, give it to them. That should be its own reward, that you help somebody. Because someday you'll probably need help, and hopefully it won't be anything serious, but and you'll have friends or family or even a perfect stranger sitting there willing to help you, expecting nothing back. So if we could pay that forward, it'd be great and wonderful. And that's always something I've always thought, why don't more people do? Like I said, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Darrah on RadioVisions. This is our second weekend, my third night on the air, and I think as we're going along, I'm getting a little better at this, and I would appreciate your comments, good or bad. Just email them to me, or you can do it live on the air tonight through the instant messenger. That'd be great and wonderful too. I want everything I can, so we can make changes, we can do updates, we can make things great and wonderful and all that fun stuff. So the holiday seasons are coming up, so I hope everybody's prepared for whatever faith they are and whatever they do this time of year. I hope you can do it with your family and friends and have a safe one, no matter what you do. I personally think that if you're with family, that's more important than anything. Things over the past 30, 40 years have got so commercialized, in my opinion, that it's kind of sad. But if you're one that enjoys the commercialization of the holidays, regardless what holiday it is, good for you, enjoy it. I'm not knocking it, I'm just saying it's families is getting kind of pushed to the side. People don't talk anymore. People are on cell phones, people are texting, people are on computers. No one sits down around the radio anymore, or sits down around the dinner table, or not even the TV and watches a 30 or 40 minute show anymore and talks about it afterwards. It's just kind of strange how the world is progressing and some ideas are disappearing while new ones are being born. That's just really kind of interesting to me. I'd like to hear your feelings on it. So send me those emails. Go to the Contact Us /newsletter page. Fill out the email form. Send it to me. I'd like to hear from you. Sign up for our newsletter while you're there. We do a monthly newsletter, and you'll get to know a few things maybe before it's even posted on the website. That's always fun to know something before your friends do. And if you would like to ask questions live tonight, just use the instant messenger on the webpage there and IM me, and I'd be happy to answer your questions or do mini readings or whatever you would like. Oh, here's another interesting thought that I had at one time. I jotted this one down. It's just, how come if you tell people you believe in a God, they're okay with it? They say, great, cool, fine, wonderful. But if you tell them you talk with God, they tend to think you're crazy. Now, why is that? If your best friend came up to you in the morning or later on tonight and said, hey, me and God or me and Buddha or whoever had this long conversation the other day and made things really clear and sensible, and I think I might do this now or might not do this now. You'd probably look at them like they're a little bit out there. But my question is why? If someone can answer that for me, let me know that one too. So I figured if you believe in a God of some sort, why can't you talk to him? Why can't they talk back? You know, if all it takes is a little belief, then that should be enough, shouldn't it? Because if you believe, that is all that is needed. How's that? Like I said, I do have this all down in paperback form or pamphlet form if you're interested in buying a copy of it, or email me and let me know, and I will work something up into a more professional looking aspect of what I've got now and try to get it posted on the website. I would also like people to submit stuff, and I think I'm going to add this to the website in the coming week to submit their thoughts of inspiration, and I'll post a couple of mine on the website too to kind of let you guys see what I've done or what I've thought. But like I said, I'm going over most of them tonight, and I don't have a whole lot of them, just a handful of them. And let's just go ahead and do that. If you have your own thoughts of inspiration and you don't mind sending them to me, why don't you email them to me? Go to the email page or the contact us page / newsletter and send me your thoughts of inspiration. And we will put them, I'll tell you what, if you do that, we will put them all together into one big book. Everybody will get credited for what they send in. So when it's printed, you'll have your thoughts of inspiration on a page, and it will say by so and so, or by Amy Johnson or Steve Harvey or whoever. But put your name with it, and I'll give you credit for it. And it'll just be kind of fun to do, I think, because I've always wondered why people do things, but they never really do them. You know what I mean? So if you're just joining us, our topic tonight is thoughts of inspiration, and you're listening to Radio Visions, and I am Darrah. And remember, the Christmas holidays are coming, and the Hanukkah holidays are coming in. If you guys do parties and you haven't got entertainment yet, please keep me in mind. I do live shows as well as private readings. My number one show is the Psychic Party, and many people are finding this a unique and exciting way of hosting a house party or business event. To give you the general guidelines of it, if you haven't read the website, a psychic party is generally held in the privacy of someone's home, or if it's a business event at a restaurant or hotel, where I come in and I'll set up a table and stuff, and all your guests or clients will get individual readings. And the best thing about the house party or the psychic party is that everybody that gets a reading also gets a free gift. I don't know how many entertainers actually come in and give you guys the gifts as part of the evening and event, but I do. So if that sounds interesting to you, why don't you give me a call on that one? And because I've only got a few days left open here and there, a couple days in the coming weeks, a couple days here and there. I'd like to fill up the calendars, what I'd like to do. That's why I'm talking about this. Or if you have something a little bit more formal, closer to maybe New Year's, I would suggest The Stranger. It's number 2 on my list of shows. It is a really cool thing. It's kind of like a phantom party guest that shows up unannounced and uninvited, and kind of goes through a mystery dinner atmosphere. If you ever been to one of those mystery dinners or murder mystery dinner plays, it's kind of like that, but in the end everybody gets personal readings done for them if they want them and so forth. It's just kind of fun. This one is really good for formal events, black tie affairs, costume parties, and I think everybody would have a blast with that one, especially around New Year's and so on. So keep these in mind if you still need party ideas, give me a call, give me an email. I'd be happy to talk to you about it, set you up, give you the prices and so forth. And if you're just joining us and you're looking for a mini reading or just have some questions you would like me to answer, IM me and I'd be happy to do that. Tonight we were talking about thoughts of inspiration, things that make you think. And here's another one, and I'm really not for sure when or why I came up with this one, but the thought at the time was, when all hope is lost, heroes are made. And I think that's very true for a lot of people and a lot of things. Is most people don't tend to think of themselves as heroes in any sense of the word, but when the time comes, they seem to be there. And it's usually because of the worst possible situations in life. So I'm thankful that those people are out there. I really am. And it amazes me that people are the way they are anymore. But life is good. That's why like I said, when I came up with that, I just have no clue what was going on in my life at the time, but that made a lot of sense to me. So, and if you are just tuning in and you haven't heard of RadioVisions before, we are here live every Friday nights and Saturday nights from 10 p.m. to midnight, doing live readings over the air. So if you want to ask questions or have a mini reading done, instant message me, and I'll be happy to do that. And we're just kind of going over thoughts of inspiration. If you're a musician or a musical artist of any kind, and you would like to submit your original work for airing on RadioVisions, please go to the website and download the broadcasting permission form. Fill it out and mail it back to us at RadioVisions. The mailing address will be on the permission form. We are looking for new age music and smooth to cool jazz music for right now. Like I said earlier, we would be happy to take any style of music. Go ahead and submit it, but we are really looking for the cool jazz, the smooth jazz, and the new age to kind of kick off our radio station. Like I said, we're only our third night into this, or our second weekend into this, depends on how you want to look at it. I am Darrah, and I hope you find this entertaining to some degree. And I always look forward to getting feedback on everything we do. So if you like what you're hearing, let me know. If you don't like what you're hearing, let me know, and we'll tweak the format again and kind of get things going. The live broadcasts that we're doing so far are just kind of getting stuff put together and making sure everything works, and until we get enough music to start playing. So I can't stress enough that if you're listening to this and you produce music, or you have friends that produce music, let them know. Let them send us stuff so we can get it put together and massaged around and start broadcasting it. Because I think it'd be a really, really cool thing for everybody, and you'll get the credit for your own music. I'll always try to announce whose music it is, and so on and so forth, so you'll get credit for it. And be a good way to get feedback. When people like something, they'll hear it once or twice. They can email us and let us know what they heard and who they thought it was by, and we'll try to get them contact information for those people. How about that? If that's not another incentive for you to submit your work. But here's another thought of inspiration. Why are people inspired by others, but not by what they can do? So I guess the moral to that one would be, you see somebody do something or hear a story of someone doing something heroic or amazing, and you go, wow, that inspires me to be a better person, or to do more, or to push harder. Why does that have to happen? Why can't you just get up one morning and go, this is going to be the first day of the rest of my life and everything's going to be great and wonderful and beautiful, or I'm going to hit work with all I got and make something of it, or I'm going to be inspired to start a family or plant a garden or whatever. Why can't you just do it on your own? I've always wondered about that. 'Cause every time you hear something, you always say, well, that inspired me. I went to a lecture and they inspired me to be a better person. Why couldn't you be a better person on your own? That's all I'm saying. Why can't people look at what they got and be pleased with it? That's something we'll probably never know. Because like I said, things change. People either don't talk to each other or they ramble on and on and on and really say nothing. So it's kind of one of those interesting quirks of fate, society, life, whatever you would like to call it. They get you going. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Radio Visions, and I am Darrah. This is Friday night, and this is November 13th. No, actually, it's the 14th. See, I don't even know my dates anymore. And if you'd like to have readings done, use the IM device on the webpage and send me an instant message, and I'd be happy to answer your questions, do those mini readings, and get you where you need to go and all that. And since the holidays are coming and you think you don't have any gift ideas whatsoever for anybody, I'll tell you what, go to the website, look for the front page and scroll down to the bottom. You'll see a reading in a bottle. That is the most unique gift I think you could give anybody. Because regardless if they have everything under the sun or nothing, it is a gift they will remember for a very, very long time. Now it is a reading based on their name, which is really kind of cool because it's really personalized that way. And it's just something that no one ever sees because it's beautifully printed on gold parchment paper. And it's wrapped in a black tassel and shipped in a hand-picked glass bottle. It's truly timeless gift. And like I said, people will remember this for a long, long time to come. So if you're needing gift ideas, there's a great one right there. And to make it even more special, or we can even have a picture added to it. So if you have a picture of the person you're giving it to, send it along with your request and your check or money order, and we'll have that picture incorporated into the reading itself, which gives it even that more personal touch, let alone their name beside it. So keep that in mind. Long while back, I overheard someone say that they don't believe in miracles, which kind of took me back a little bit. It's like, you don't believe in miracles. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought that they don't know what they're missing. So I came up with this inspiration, or this thing to make you think, and it is, if you don't believe if you don't believe in miracles, watch a sunset sometime. Now, if you haven't taken the time to sit down and watch a sunset in a while, I would highly recommend it. Sit down and watch it. You can watch it every single night of your life, and every night it will be different. Guaranteed. It is so majestic, so beautiful. It will literally take your breath away. So keep that in mind. If you want to see a miracle, a true miracle, watch a sunset sometime. Share it with somebody. Share it with your kids, your husband, your wife. your loved ones. Just enjoy it by yourself or share it with anyone and everyone you can, because it is an amazing experience. So, like I said, we were reading Thoughts of Inspiration tonight, things to make you think. If you have your own thoughts of inspiration, email them to me. I'd like to hear from you, see what they are. And who knows, if I get enough of them, I might even start a page called Thoughts of Inspiration. We'll post people's thoughts up there, and it will be really, really kind of neat, I think, if we do that. So if you're interested in doing that, let me know. Like I said, email it to me, and in the subject line of your email, why don't you just type in Thoughts of Inspiration. I also have my own personal thoughts of inspiration put down in book form, and if you'd like a copy of that, email me and I'll let you know how to go about getting a copy of it. And they're just kind of neat to see, kind of neat to read on nights that you feel kind of blah or blah, just kind of fun. Here's another one that I've always wondered about, and this will strike a chord with a lot of you, and some of you'll look at it and just go, okay, it is what it is, but here it is. Why do we miss someone so much when they are gone, but hardly notice them when they're here? I have seen that one in action so many times that it's scary. I know I've probably done it myself to some degree. I think we all probably have, but if you really stop and think about it, when that person that you care about so much or love so much is right here, why do we take them for granted until they're gone? It's just kind of crazy. So let me know what you think. And if you're just tuning in, we're doing Thoughts of Inspiration, things to make you think. If you have your own thoughts of inspiration, email them to me. I want to hear from you. Like I said, if we can get enough of them, I might even start a whole new page called Thoughts of Inspiration. And we'll post some of them on there so everybody else can see. I think that'd be cool. So we need to do it. So send them in, get them coming, and we'll do as much as we can. If you're out there listening live tonight versus listening to this later on during the week, even if you're listening to it later on during the week, all this is still accurate and going on. Send us your thoughts and we'll get them posted. But if you're listening live right now, IM me with the questions and stuff, and we can do mini readings for you, and I'd be happy to do that. And as we go on, and it occurred to me a few days ago, which really made me dig out this book of Thoughts of Inspiration, was I was in the mall and I overheard kids talking about just life in general, and they were little kids. They were like maybe 4 or 5, which made me thought of this one little passage I'd put in here, and I'm going to read that to you now, which is, if you want to see true love, look through a child's eyes. And that is so amazing, so true. Little kids, especially the ones about 8 years and younger, but especially the little ones between 2, 3, 4, they are so funny at times, but everything is just so black and white to them. It either is or isn't. There is no in between. There is nothing. Love is love, and it's just a wonderful place to be. I just wish we never would lose that when we grow older. But like I said, we go to school, we learn things, we're taught things happen in one way and one way only. So things come, things go, but try to think back and remember when you were little. The things you said, the things you did, the things you enjoyed. Do you still enjoy them now? Do you still believe what you said back then? I hope so. I do on a lot of things. I also think back and think about some of the things I said or wrote down when I was little and kind of laugh about it and go, what was I thinking? And at other times I look at the exact same thing and go, I wish I was still that little again. But that's just part of life, part of growing old, I guess. So, here's another observation or that I've made over the years. And this one, I don't know how to take it. I don't know how to explain it. So I'm just going to read it and let you guys take it for what it is or what it isn't to you. But here it goes. Why does life matter so much to those who have so little, and so little to those who have so much? That one's hard to wrap your head around. But I've known people, individuals and families that have had nothing to their names, that have been homeless or on the verge of being homeless, and they were so thankful for every little thing they've had. Then I've known people way on the opposite end, and have acted so terrible towards life and other people and things that they were always upset if they couldn't get stuff when they wanted it, how they wanted it, and so on and so forth. It amazes me to this day still. But to never lose sense of where you came from or where you could be going if things don't work out for you. If you're doing good right now and life is great and you have work and a loving family or friends and so on, be thankful for them. Because you could wake up in the morning and all that could be gone. So be thankful for what you have. And don't get too impatient if things don't come quickly. Everybody wants things to come quickly this day and age. And that is a little bit sad to me. Because I was always brought up on the philosophy of you have to work for what you get. And so many people these days expect it just handed to them. And in so many ways that's bad. Some ways it's okay, it's good. But it's just take your time with life, enjoy it. Because the destination is great, but the journey is a whole lot better. And I really believe that. Because I know so many people that are so bottled up with having to work so hard because they think it's going to take them somewhere in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. Then when they get to that end of that 20, 30, or 40 years, they're still working hard because that's what their life was work. I know other people that work very hard, work very diligently, but don't take life quite that serious. You know, if they decide they're going to take 2 weeks off work, they take it. Or if they decide that life is getting old, quit their job, sell their house, move to another state or town, start over. And these people are happy. They truly are. I really admire those people. Because life is too short to always worry about the little things. Sometimes the little things is what makes life fun. And keep that in mind. Work's great. I've always had a job to where something was coming in of some kind. I'm not going to say I always had full-time jobs, but I've always had a job where something was coming in, bills were being met, but just take the time to enjoy life. Enjoy that journey. Don't let don't let things scare you. I know the economy is not so great right now, but that always changes from a day-to-day basis. Today it might be really bad. Tomorrow could be a wonderful place for the economy. So keep that in mind. And I actually see the economy turning around in about another year and a half. So in about 18 to 20 months, the economy will slowly start jumping back up to where it needs to go. When I say slowly, I do mean slowly. But it's going to take a little time to smooth some bumps out that have been made. So keep that in mind when you get upset or get angry because the price of this went up or the price of that went up. That's just life. Try not to let it get you down, because if you do, it can make you miserable, and nobody wants that. So if you're just logging on, tuning in, why don't you IN me? Let me know what's going on in your world. Even if you just want to do it to say hi, just say hi then. I'm here, willing to listen. Remember, you're listening to Radio Visions with Darrah. We're here every Friday and Saturday nights live between 10 p.m. and midnight Central Time. And I would like to thank you all that have been tuning in and listening and checking out the website. I do appreciate it. I also need people that are into the music business, regardless if you're just starting or if you've been there forever. If you produce your own music and you would like to air it on RadioVisions, please print off a broadcasting form and mail it to us with one of your CDs, and we will get that integrated into our system and start broadcasting that. I'm hoping to have enough to start broadcasting sometime this coming week, possibly next weekend at the latest. But this has been a slow process and nothing we can do about that. It's just what it is. It's a slow process to get the music in order to play it. We got to let people know about it. Then we got to wait for the music. And then we got to get it edited and put into the system. Then got to get it streaming. So there's a lot of itty bitty steps in there that kind of make things go a little slow. But, that's what life's all about. Sit back, take your time, don't rush things. And talking about taking your time, I have people ask me all the time what I see when I do readings and stuff, and to describe it as a way of what I see and how I see it. I always tell them it's like a dream, but a lot of times it's like in slow motion. So I guess I'm taking my time as I look at it, is another way to put it together. But have you ever had a dream, to give it some perspective that you might understand? Have you ever had a dream where you were like sitting in your living room, and then as you stood up from the couch, you were all of a sudden standing in the middle of the mall? That's how I perceive what I perceive when I give readings. Sometimes it's disjointed and fragmented like that, so it takes a couple seconds to try to tie things together. And other times when I do readings, things are all tied together, just boom, boom, boom for me. So, but it makes it interesting, it makes it fun for everybody. So keep that in mind. Like I said, we're trying new things tonight. We're talking about thoughts of inspiration, things that make you think. If you have your own thoughts of inspiration, email them to me. I'd like to see them. I'd like to hear them. And like I said earlier, we might even start a new page on the website called Thoughts of Inspiration, if I get enough of them. And we'll start posting some of them up there. I think that would be fun. And who knows, maybe it will be why you come to the website, just to read that page. That would be very cool, I think. So let me know you're out there and send them to me. And if you're out there listening live tonight, why don't you send me an instant message? I will be happy to answer your questions. Do a small mini reading for you. Or if you just want to say hi, say hi. The only thing I ask is that if you do an instant message, down there at the bottom where it says instant message guest or aim guest, type in a name in there. It can be your name. It can be a bogus name. But it sounds a lot better if I can address Sally or Steve or Tony versus aim guest 444452. Sometimes that just gets hilarious, trying to rattle off numbers constantly. A lot of people ask me about my shows I offer, and they ask me a couple common questions. And I've got these questions posted on the website as well, but the number one common question is, can I travel to do a show? And I always get a big kick out of that, because if you've read any of the other pages, at some point in the other pages it says we do shows nationally. So, yeah, I think I can travel for you. So, I do shows nationally. Done shows close to home, like in Missouri and Branson, and Oklahoma. Done them in Seattle, the state of Washington. Done them in all over, actually. It's just kind of crazy. I've done numerous local shows. If you go to the website under About Darrah, you'll find that page. So that lists a lot of stuff on there of shows I've done. And that's only a very, very small fragmented list of live events and shows and TV programs and radio programs I've done over the years. And when I say over the years, I've spent the last 30 some years doing shows of one kind or another. So some of those are pretty old, but still, they were a great honor to do. So keep that in mind. If you need something very unique for an upcoming event of any kind, think about me. I have things for casual. I have things for formal. I have things for art shows. I have an art show actually called Imagine. And this is a show unlike any other show you've probably ever seen. It is actually based solely on imagination. And if you haven't read the small write-up on it, that's just the tip of the iceberg. But I'll read you that write-up right now. It's just kind of interesting. So here we go. Imagine an evening so extraordinary it goes beyond your senses. Imagine seeing someone painting who is blindfolded. Imagine audience members being transformed into artists and painting beautiful works of art, even if they can't paint. Imagine seeing audience members explaining and describing artwork they can't even see. Can you imagine? This show is a phenomenal piece for larger groups. And when I say larger, I don't mean necessarily 5,000 people. It can be 20 to 25, it could be 30. But it is really a great program for fundraisers. Because like the write-up says, audience members actually make art on stage. And how I work that in with fundraisers is that at the end of the night, we take that artwork and we auction it off. And then the proceeds go to whatever benefit that you're having the fundraiser for. I think that is so cool, so fun. And like I said, it's one of those shows that nobody can even imagine what's going to happen. It is so unlike anything you've probably ever seen. And if you have seen something similar to it, let me know about it. I always like to know what's out there and what people are doing. So keep that in mind, that this is a really great show. And it can be done almost anywhere. It can be done in art galleries. It can be done in museums. It can be done in smaller venues like hotels and private rooms at restaurants or clubs. It's a really great thing, and it's so unique. So keep that in mind. Here is another thought of inspiration that struck me a while back, and I really don't know how to describe why people do this, but I know they do it. And it goes, if you worry about what might be, you'll miss out on what is. So I guess you can say a lot of my thoughts of inspiration have the same underlying theme running through them. Live in the here, the now. Don't miss the moments because you're all tied up in the day-to-day drama that some people call life. The here and the now is so interesting. If you're so worried about what you need to do in the next 6 months, are you even worrying about what you need to do today, tomorrow? Or is that no concern? To me, that should be more of a concern than what you're doing in 6 months. Yes, by all means, make the plans, but take it day by day. Don't just hurry through it. You'll miss too much if you hurry through it. Just sit back and relax. Life is too precious to miss out on. Because I would like to think that most individuals on this planet will get 100 years to figure stuff out. But face it, some of us won't get 100 years. And if you're one of the lucky ones, I hope you have it figured out by the time it's over. So, remember, if you keep worrying about what might be, you'll miss out on what is. So don't. Keep life in perspective. Work hard at what you do, but also live hard too. That's always fun. If you'd like to have personal readings done on a face-to-face basis, give me a call some day or send me an email and we'll set up a time and an appointment for you. Because the personal readings I like to do by appointments only. That way I can spend time with you and not have to rush through stuff. And that's always great fun. So remember, if you'd like private or personal readings, give me a call and set up an appointment. I'd be happy to do that. And you're listening to Radio Visions on this Friday night. Remember, we're here every Friday and Saturday night between 10 p.m. and midnight Central Time. And we are trying to get music to stream it out 24/7 eventually. And we're starting to see a little bit of that come in. But I'd like to see a lot more. So if you produce your own music, write your own music, have the rights to your own music, that is the important part, print off a permission form, fill it out, mail it back to us with a CD, and we'll get that integrated into the system and start pumping out streaming music as soon as we can. I'm hoping to get that done by the middle of next week or at the end of next week. But I'll need a little bit more music than what I have to do that. So please keep that in mind. Please get it coming in to us. You are listening to Darrah on RadioVisions. If you're just joining us, this is RadioVisions, and I am Darrah, and I would like you to sit down and relax, have a good time, maybe pour you a glass of wine, or if you don't drink, pour you a soda pop, a cup of coffee, and just think about all the things that you've done in the past few days. Was your life hectic? Was it slow? Did you have time to enjoy anything? Or did you have time to savor every moment? Let us know what you did the last few days. Send us an email. Or if you'd like to, you can send me an instant message right now. We can do live readings. You can just ask questions. Or you can just say hi. I just kind of like the fun of the live stuff. It just keeps it interesting. So keep that in mind. A lot of people want to know how big or how small of a show venue I can do when I do shows. I can do shows for as little as 5 people. I can do shows for as large as 5,000. So if you're a individual that's having a holiday party of some sort or a New Year's Eve party of some sort, need to call in quick. I've only got a few days left open that we can get shows into, so keep that in mind. And I would be happy to do that. I also have something that I think is unique. I have a price guarantee. If you're interested in one of my shows, and if you can provide proof of someone else's price for the same style of show or shows that I offer, I will match their price and then take 10% off that. Now, all this is done within reason, of course, but I do have that guarantee that I can beat anybody's prices within 10%. So keep that in mind when booking, that the shows are very budget friendly. And like I said, please keep in mind that show dates or event dates for November and December fill very, very fast. But I do have a few of them opened, so if you would still like to try to get shows booked, call me, let me know. You're listening to RadioVisions with Darrah every Friday and Saturday nights between 10 p.m. and 12 a.m. Tonight we're doing Thoughts of Inspiration to make you think. I've read off a dozen or so of some thoughts I had jotted down on paper. Most of those thoughts were jotted down many years ago. Some of them just a few weeks ago, but most of them many years ago. And if you have your own thoughts of inspiration, I'd like to hear them. So why don't you email those to me? Let me know what's going on. You can go to the Contact Us /newsletter page. Send me those thoughts of inspiration. And while you're there, if you'd like, why don't you sign up for the newsletter? I do a monthly newsletter, and we send it out usually towards the first of the months. So if you just signed up for one and is wondering when one will come out, it probably won't be until shortly after December 1st. But a lot of times you'll find out things first before they're actually posted on the website. And like I was saying earlier, there are some changes coming to the website. I believe that we are going to be adding advertising to the website to help pay for keeping this program alive and going. And if you're an individual or a company that would like to advertise, please contact me and we can talk through this. You can either call me or you can use the email and send me an email and we can talk about it. Because I'm not for sure how that's going to manifest itself, but it's in consideration because in the long run we will need ways to pay for the website and so on. But for now, this is Darrah talking live on Radio Visions. If you just joined us and this is your first time to the site, this is our second weekend or our third night on the air live. I would like to thank everybody that's been tuning in and sending in stuff and letting us know that you're out there and signing up for the newsletters. I do appreciate it. I'm glad that somebody's out there. I also want to let people know that this is a very laid-back experience. So remember, just enjoy life as what you can, when you can, and how you can. Don't let it get you down. Don't let it get you overwhelmed. If you're out there and you'd like a mini reading, why don't you send me an instant message? I'd be happy to do that here over the airwaves. Or if you just want to send me a message and say hi, please do that as well. I'm actually going to do a small reading right now for Tammy. Tammy, thanks for I am in me. Right now we're going to do a small thing. Tammy needs to know why she's been having this rough patch here lately. For the past 2 weeks, things seem to be dark, doom, and gloomy for her. Well, Tammy, from what I'm getting is you're in a color area that's not real susceptible to you, which is you're in almost a dark blue area of life right now, and that's not a good thing. We need to pull you back over into the yellows and oranges of life. And in order to do that, we need to take the situation that happened about 6 weeks ago, because that's what's bothering you, and turn it into a positive one. And I think the best way to do that is to actually confront that situation head on. And if you think back of what happened, and as silly as it seems now, it still upset you and it upset your friend. But keep in mind that it wasn't meant to. So if you can convince yourself to let go of that, your gray feeling or gloomy feeling will go away. So that will make every situation very positive. So keep that in mind, okay? And on another note, Tammy, I also see that you've got a road trip planned coming up pretty soon. And it's not a really big road trip. It's like a 4-day trip. And since the time frame on that is in about 2 weeks, I'm assuming that's focused around the Thanksgiving holiday. You're probably going to go see family or friends or a loved one of some kind. So I think before this trip happens, to really be able to enjoy it, you need to be okay with yourself, center yourself a little bit. So take a good look at the situation that put you where you're at, and you'll understand that it wasn't really what you thought it was. So keep that in mind, okay? And send me an email in a couple days after you've had time to think about this. Let me know what came of it, okay? Thank you, Tammy. And for those of you who are just tuning in, I am Darrah. This is Friday night. And this is the 14th. If you want a live reading done, use the instant messenger and send me a IM. I'd be happy to answer your questions. Or if you just want to say hi, I'd be happy to answer your questions with that as well. Or if you just want to sit back and listen, by all means do that too. Earlier we were doing thoughts of inspiration to make you think. And a lot of the thoughts of inspiration I have anymore are usually based on people. And I always wonder why certain people look at life the way they do. Because I personally am thankful for what I have. And my wants aren't that great. You know, as long as I have a roof over my head, food on the table, and some way to bring in a little money to pay the bills, I'm happy. But I know so many people out there that if they don't have that name brand clothing or that very best meal down the street or whatever, it tends to stress them out and freak them out. And I just wonder how they get to that point where that's all that matters. I don't know if it's the way they were raised. I don't know if it's the media, the hype, the whatever else you want to call it, but I wish these people would just step back from their lives and look at it and see it for what it is, that they work really, really hard for things that in the long run don't seem to matter much to anybody. But that's what they love, that's what they need, that's what they have to have. I find it interesting. I'm not knocking these people, I'm just finding it interesting that they never seem to be happy with what they have. So, like I said earlier, if you have your own thoughts of inspiration or small stories in general that you would like to share, email them to me. I'd like to see them. I'd like to maybe even start a new page on the website called Thoughts of Inspiration. If I get enough emails in the next week to 2 weeks, I will actually start posting some of those. How's that? So send me all your thoughts of inspiration. Or if you're interested in the thoughts of inspiration that I was reading off earlier in the first hour, let me know and I can try to get this put into a more professional looking format and figure out a way to get you a copy of it. So keep that in mind too. And if you weren't here in the first hour, I am making some changes to the website. In order to keep the website up and running, I'm going to have to start advertising. So you'll see some advertising links coming in the future. Or if you're a small company or an individual that runs a home-based business, per se, and would like to advertise on our website or over RadioVisions, please send me an email or call me about it, and I'd like to talk to you about what we can set up and how we can do it. And if you're interested in a live reading tonight, send me an instant message. I'd be happy to do that. Or if you just want to say hi, send me an instant message and I can say hi back. And let me know where you're from. I'd like to know if just local people are getting this broadcast or if people in Sri Lanka are getting this broadcast. I'd like to know. So send me an instant message if you can hear this. Send me an email. Or even if you're listening to this later on in the week, if it's from one of the rebroadcasts that I do, let me know where you're from. I'd be curious to see how far out I'm going with this. And like I said, we were doing thoughts of inspiration. Another observation, if you will, that I've noticed over the years is that more and more people don't live in the here and now. They're always living in the next week world or the next month world, and that's great. It's great to make plans, great to go out there, great to make point A meet up with point B, but don't forget about everything in between those points. If you turn yourself into a workaholic, you may miss out on all the small things, which in my world are actually the big things, like watching your children grow up. You only get to do that once. For better or for worse, you get to do that once. Do not miss it. Do not miss those things. So keep that in mind. Everybody needs to slow down every now and then. Sit outside some evening and watch the sunset. Or if you're an early bird, get up and watch the sunrise. Because either watching a sunrise or a sunset, they're both spectacular. No two are alike. And if you're in Kansas this week and California next week, the sunsets are so stunning from state to state, town to town. The colors are different, the clouds are different, the atmosphere is different. It's just an amazing sight. So take the time to share it with those you care about. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Radio Visions, and I am Darrah. We're here every Friday and Saturday nights between 10 p.m. and midnight. And if you'd like to ask questions or have a mini reading done, get on the IM and send me one. I'd be happy to answer those questions. Or if you feel that there's something not working on the website, or send me an email. Let me know that as well. I'd be very, very curious about it. If you would like to just say hi, do that as well. I had also stated earlier in the first hour that if you have your own thoughts of inspiration and you'd like to share them with us, put them in an email and email them to me. Put in the subject line that there are thoughts of inspiration, and if I get enough of these emails in, I will actually start posting them on the website, just so we can share it with the rest of the world. And I think that would be kind of a fun thing to do. Who knows, in the upcoming weeks, I might actually just start posting some of mine on the website to get it kicked off. So bear in mind that might happen in a week, it might happen in 2 weeks. I have no set plans right now, it's just a thought. But like I said, if I get enough emails about it, I'll do it. And we'll just keep moving on from here. Okay, we've got someone asking a question, and we've got Ben. Ben needs to know what work is going to go on for him in the next couple weeks, because he's an aircraft worker. Must be here in Kansas. Ben, aircraft is going to be okay for you right now. The layoffs are coming, but you're going to hang in there. You will know for sure that you're safe around the 22nd of November, but don't let it bother you, because you think these layoffs are going to get really, really close to you, and you're going to see people and some of your friends around you get hit with notices for their layoff. But you're not going to be one of those persons, so don't let it stress you too bad. It's just a matter of the waiting game, because the way they're laying off people this time at the plant is slightly different than normal. They are trying to go by seniority, but they're also picking and choosing in there. So I know you haven't been there real long yet, but you're gonna make it through. So keep that in mind. And if this has helped you at all, Ben, let me know. Send me an email. Let me know about that. And in a couple weeks, why don't you send me an email and let me know how this turns out? I'd appreciate it much. And anybody out there, if you don't want to IN me, that's fine. But if you would like to ask questions, I'd also like to hear from you. You can do it using the email address. Go to the contacts page / newsletter page. Send me an email, and while you're there, sign up for the newsletter. The newsletter is a really cool feature that we just added a few weeks ago. I do a monthly newsletter, and if you would like to know of things that are coming up before they really hit the website, that's the best way to do it, because I try to do that once a month newsletter before anything else. Sometimes you get the information before it hits the website. Sometimes you get it a little bit after, but websites, are a work in progress for everybody. But if you want to IM me and you're on that main page right there, go ahead and just IM me. Just say hi. Ask me your questions. Feel free. Like I said, tonight we were doing thoughts of inspiration. Earlier, I read one that I would like to go back to on why people are inspired by others. And I I'm just really fascinated by that concept. It's just that why are people inspired by others but not by what they can do themselves? That has always amazed me, and I don't know why it amazes me. Because I know a lot of people that want to do stuff, but just always say they never have time. They never got around to it. But they'll go spend $200 to go to a seminar and come back and be all pumped up and ready to conquer the world. So why can't they get that way with what they want to do? How they see life? It's just kind of curious to me. Because there's some days I'll get up and go, this is what's going to happen today. And I do it. And I'll have friends or coworkers go, that is so cool. What inspired you to do that? Who'd you see? What happened? And I go, nothing. I just got up and decided I was going to do something different today. And it always is amazing. Always. Even if the project or whatever I'm doing doesn't work out right, it is still amazing. So, like I said, keep us posted, keep us informed. What's going on? Send me an email. Send me an IM. I'd like to hear from you. I would like to know what's going on in your world. I'd like to know if you think we need to make some changes. I'm open to anything and everything. You are listening to Darrah here on this Friday night. And we're here every weekend, live, Friday nights between 10 p.m. and midnight, Central Time. Depending on what time zone you're in, I guess it would be midnight before we were online. So, keeping that in mind as well. But like I said, send us an email, send us a IM. Just let us know what's going on in the world, in your world in particular. I always like to know what's happening with the people that listen. If you're in the music business, as far as producing your own original work, and would like to have it aired on RadioVisions, go to the website and print off one of the broadcasting forms, fill it out, and mail us your music on CD format, and we will get it put in and start pumping out music here in the next, I'm hoping in the next week. But if I don't get enough music, I'll have to push it out another week or two. We're starting to get a little bit of it in, but I would like a little more than what I have before I start it. So if you don't personally produce music and you know someone else who does, pass this information along to them. Let them know about it. I'd appreciate it. Right now we are looking for a new age and smooth and cool jazz. But if that's something you don't do and you do produce something else, go ahead and send it to us. I'd like to see it. Maybe we'll use it. Now, I can't guarantee we will use everybody's music that gets posted or sent in to us, but we will use as much of it as we possibly can. Like I said, right now we are looking for new age style of music and smooth and cool jazz music for right now. So if you do your own original work, please submit it. It will be aired on RadioVisions, and you will get the credit for it. We'll always do that for people who submit stuff. And even if you want to submit stuff to the website, like I said, if I get enough people that email me their thoughts of inspiration, things to make you think, if I get enough of those, I'll start posting those as well. And I think that would be a really fun page in itself. So, and Vicky just wants to say hi. So hi Vicky, thanks for IMing me. So like I said, if you're out there and can hear my voice, let me know where you're from. I'm curious on that too. I want to know if I'm just broadcasting in the Midwest or if I'm broadcasting in Moscow. I'd like to know where you're from, where you're listening. Let me know. Send me an email or an IM. Let me know where you're at. I think that would be kind of fun. Like I said, this is our second weekend or our third night on the live portion of this. And if you'd like a mini reading done, send me an instant message. I would love to do one for you. Or if you would just like to say hi, you can do that too by the instant messenger. Or if you're just curious about what I do but you really don't know and you want to ask questions, you can do that too. You can either do it by email. If you do it by email, go to the Contact Us /newsletter page. And while you're there, sign up for the monthly newsletters because that's always fun to know what's coming before it actually hits the website. And I would like to thank everybody that's been tuning in last week and this week, and even during the week. Because during the week, if you miss the live shows, we rebroadcast some of the shows. So if you click on those links, you can re-listen to the rebroadcasts. Those are always kind of fun. And like I said, tonight's topics were things I've observed, which is kind of interesting and unique. And have you ever been out for a walk through the park and you see little kids playing like there's no worry in the world? They're just out there having a great time. If I could have one wish that would come true, just one, I would wish more adults acted that way. Because kids are as innocent as you can get. Most kids see the world in black and white. You do it or you don't. By the time you're an adult, you've been told that there's only certain ways you can do things. And when you start believing that, you tend to lose a little bit of that magic that everybody's born with. So keep that in mind. Or if you think you can find that magic again, dig deep and find it and start living life like it's meant to be lived. Just by the seat of your pants. Go have some fun. Wake up some morning and say, hey, I'm going to use 2 days of my vacation this week on the spur of the moment, or 2 days of my sick leave, and take a small road trip to the next town or the next state. Just have a good time. Don't plan it. Just get up and do it someday. Those are the best types of trips or inspiration anybody can have. I think it's just a waste at times if you get yourself too bogged down with work and the daily routine. It can put you in a rut real quick, make things seem very blah for you. So don't let that happen. Every once in a while, shake it up a little bit. Remember what it was like to be young. I always do. I always get my kids to look at me and they'll shake their heads like, Dad, you're embarrassing us. Well, guess what? It's fun. I do it. I think everybody needs to do it from time to time. So keep that in mind when you're out there wanting to have fun. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Radio Visions, and I am Darrah. We're here every Friday and Saturday nights live between 10 p.m. and 12 a.m. Central Time. If you haven't been over the entire website yet, I encourage you to do so. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am a natural born psychic. I have been doing this for well over 30 years. Between the ages of 7 and 8, I started to experience dreams that would later come true. And explaining that one to your friends without them laughing at you, that's fun to do. But there was a couple friends that understood and gave me my moral support, but for the majority of them, yeah. But, and as I got older, I started basically having dreams, but I was awake. So, and those would come to pass as well. And that's kind of unique. When I first started seeing things and hearing things when I was awake, I always played it off at first as just something that my imagination was doing. I was by myself in a room too long, I'd tell myself, or walking through the park by myself and just letting my imagination run wild. But as I got a little bit older, I started actually seeing people that weren't there. Then I was able to talk to people that weren't there. And then after that point, it made a lot more sense to me on what I should be doing, what I was, what I could do. So I've always helped people over the years. And I don't know why, but people seem to flock to me because they think they can tell me about anything, and they can. You can too. If you need just to have someone to listen to you, I'm here for that as well. I'm not just here for guidance, I'm here just to listen as well. So if you want to IM me and let me know what's going on in your world, feel free. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help. And I know it's strange for some of you. Some of you tune in just to see what it's all about. I understand. Some of you tune in because you're really into this, and I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for anybody that tunes in and checks it out. Like I said earlier, this is our second weekend. And if you've been listening to the broadcast from last Saturday night that's been posted all week, I appreciate that very much. And we are going over things tonight called Thoughts of Inspiration. And if you weren't here earlier, I was reading enough Thoughts of Inspiration to make you think of things I've jotted down over the years and made this little booklet up. And if you'd like a copy of this booklet, why don't you email me and let me know, and we'll try to figure something out on how I can get you copies of it, or maybe I'll eventually just get it posted online so you can read it online. But let me know how you'd like to work out. If you're out there and you want to instant message me just to say hi or to have a mini reading, please do so. And let me know where you're from. Like I said, let me know if you're from Wichita, Kansas. Let me know if you're from New York, New York. Let me know if you're from Paris. Just let me know where you're from. I kind of like to know how far we're going out and how many people are listening. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Radio Visions with Darrah. And remember, the holidays are coming up. And no matter what you celebrate, if you're planning an event of some kind and don't have it planned yet, why don't you give me a call or email me, and we can set you up with a show. I've got several different shows I can do. Our number one show I do is called The Psychic Parties, which is the most popular because everybody at your party that wants a reading can get a reading done, and everybody that gets a reading done gets a free gift. Or if you want something that's more of a stage style show, I would suggest checking into one or two shows that I do. One's called Talking to the Afterlife, and that's where I do afterlife readings for loved ones that have crossed over that still need to let you know they're there and give you a little guidance and let you know everything's all right. And I also do a show called Imagine. This is a great stage show for so many reasons. It is focused more on the audience members that get asked to participate and how they can tune into a side of them that they never use. And it is such an extraordinary show that I don't know if you've seen anything like it. And if you have, let me know about it. I'd be curious to know. I'm not saying this is an original piece by any means, because that would be foolish on my part. I know there's shows out there similar to it, but I'm sure they don't present it the same way I would, and vice versa. I always just like to see what's out there. But in the show called Imagine, we get audience members to come up on stage and do paintings totally blindfolded. We get up and get audience members to describe works of art that they can't even see. And then when they're showed the artwork, it seems to match up perfectly to what they were saying. And that always amazes me, that just by using a little bit of imagination that can happen. It is one of our best shows. It is a great show if you're doing a fundraiser or some kind of event where you need to bring in money. And why I say that is because everything that's done on stage, as far as the paintings and all that, at the end of the night we can auction them off to raise money for whatever event or cause you're doing. And that's always great. Makes every situation a win-win. And if you want something that's a little more formal than the psychic party, but you don't want to do black tie and tuxes, I would suggest doing wine readings. And it runs pretty much like the psychic party does. We all come in, set up a table, and individuals can have individual readings done based on wine they're drinking for the evening. And that's always kind of fun to have that done. It just makes it a little more formal than the psychic party, but not as formal as the stranger program. So read over those. Let me know what you think. If you still need to book a party for the holidays, let me know about that. And if you're just joining us, you're listening to Darrah on RadioVisions. And if you'd like to get a mini reading done, just send me an IM and I'd be happy to do that. Or if you just want to say hi, why don't you do that too? Earlier in the night I was reading from a book I'd put together called Thoughts of Inspiration. Things to make you think. If you have your own thoughts of inspiration, email them to me. I'd like to see them, and we might even post them online on the website. And if I get enough of them, I'll more than likely do that. But I'll need to get some first, and that will probably happen in the next week to 2 weeks, depending on how many I get and how much of my own stuff I post. But I think that would be a really unique feature that we could do. And if you were not around for our first weekend, I would like to thank you for being here tonight. And if you were around for the first weekend, I'd like to thank you for being there last weekend. It was great fun. The first night we had a few technical glitches. Second night went a little bit better. Since this is our third night, I'm hoping it's gone even better, at least on the tech side it has. And just keep in mind, I'm here for you basically, so let me know what's going on in your world. And like I said, we can do mini readings here live tonight, right now. And keep that in mind, if you still need to book shows, even if it's throughout the year, that October, November, and December, if your shows fall in those months, these months tend to fill up fast because of the holiday situation, so keep that in mind. And I do have a few openings left for December, so if you're still planning parties, give me a call, find out when those days are, and we can work with you. And we've got someone who's needing a little help in the area of love tonight. And they've got since they didn't put a name in here, I'm going to call them Johnny. He's wanting to know if his girlfriend of six years, long time to have a girlfriend, Johnny. He's wanting to know if she'll say yes if he proposes. And yes, actually she will. The relationship is very stable, very strong right now. And this is something she's actually been kind of waiting for a long time, so Yes, this is a very good time for you to go ahead and pop that question, and you will get a yes question back or yes answer back. Trust me on this one. And if you haven't really thought about how you're going to ask her, do it in a really do it in a unique manner so she'll remember it. Don't just come home from work one night and go, "Oh, by the way, you want to get married?" Don't do that. But yes, she will say yes to your question. So I hope that's helped, and let me know what's going on in your life later on down the road, if you will. Like I said, if you haven't been here through the whole night and you've just logged in, you're listening to Radio Visions with Darrah. And in the upcoming weeks, you'll start noticing the website changing a little bit. When I have to start adding advertising to it and advertising to Radio Visions itself. So we need to do something to keep this up and going. So if you're a company or an individual that does something that needs advertising, feel free to call me or send me a email with what you have in mind, and we'll sit down and talk and get something going for you. And if you're just curious about what we do and got some questions, email me those too, or instant message me on those, and I'll be happy to try to answer them for you. Like I said earlier, we were doing thoughts of inspiration. If you have your own thoughts of inspiration, please, by all means, email them to us, and I will actually start that page on the internet, on my website, and we'll just call it Thoughts of Inspiration. Let me know what your thoughts are on that, good or bad. We'll get them posted out there, and if you actually include a name with them, we'll add your name to it. We'll put your thought up there, and we'll put by so and so. So keep that in mind. Or if you want to be anonymous, we'll make it anonymous, but we'll give you the credit for it. And if you're a musician or a band that produces new age music or smooth or cool jazz, print off the broadcasting form and mail us a copy of your CD. And we will slowly integrate the music into our system. I'd like to get it going in the next week or two if we could, so I need you to send in CDs, preferably your own original work, but send it along with the broadcasting form. If you've looked at the broadcasting form last week and you look at it this week, it has changed just slightly, but nothing major. So keep that in mind. If you printed off one earlier, you don't have to reprint a new one. Use the one you printed off. That's fine and dandy as long as it accompanies your CD that you mail back. That's all that matters. And like I said, we will get those integrated into the system and start streaming those out over the airwaves as quickly as we can. But I'd like to get a few more of the music in before we start doing that. I've got a little bit, and I thank you people for submitting what you have. And please keep it coming. Or if you don't do music yourself and you know somebody who does, please pass on the information. This does two things. This gives us here at Radio Vision something to broadcast, and it gives you, the artist, a way to get your music heard, because we will give you full credit for it, which means we will say who you are over the air, or we will maybe even post online somewhere everybody's name and name of the album they've submitted to be aired. This is all in a I really don't know what to call it. In a stage of where we're just learning as we go, basically. So keep that in mind. This is new to us, new to you. And like I said, I would just like to thank everybody that is listening. And thanks for Jamie at New York, who's up late listening. Thank you for
eyeing me and saying what's up. Even if that's all you do, please contact me. Let me know you're listening. I would like to know. If you have thoughts on what you think can do to improve it, let us know that too. Like I said, each night we're here live, I'm trying to do something just slightly different. Tonight was Thoughts of Inspiration. Last Saturday night was meanings of playing cards, because I read playing cards versus tarot cards. And I always thought reading playing cards was interesting, and some people didn't know what the meanings of playing cards were, so throughout the night I randomly selected cards and told you what the meanings were. And the first night, a week ago last Friday, was a unique evening because we just kind of walked through the process of trying to broadcast. And like I said, I know I had some glitches that night, but I hope we got through those. And those that were listening, I hope they had a good time and are still coming back. So keep that in mind. And if you have your own thoughts that you would like to share with us, please do so by email. One of the biggest things that I always like to tell people is that it's time to move on, time to move forward. But don't take too much time with that moving forward. Don't plan it too much, because if you take all your time planning it, you might miss the journey. You might miss the here and now. And if you miss that part of it, you missed a whole big segment of life that you'll probably regret later. So remember to live in those little moments as well as those big moments. I know the big moments can be grand when they get here, but sometimes the little moments are the ones you remember forever. So keep that in mind when you're doing stuff. And if you just joined us, you're listening to Radio Visions. This is Darrah, and welcome to being here tonight. And if you haven't been over the entire website yet, please do so. You'll notice some changes starting to take place over the next few days and weeks. Like I said, we are going to start slowly adding advertising to it, so keep that in mind. And if you need to advertise, contact me and we'll see what we can do and to help each other out. And right now our biggest thing is that we need music desperately so we can broadcast over Radio Visions during the day. Because once we get enough music in, I'll be able to broadcast 24/7. So get on the Radio Visions webpage and download the permission form. Mail it back with your CD. Right now we are looking for new age music and cool and jazz music. Or I should say cool jazz music or smooth jazz. But if you're outside of those two areas of music and produce something that you think we might like, go ahead and send that too. Be happy to get it, listen over it. Who knows, it might start playing in the next few days. But for right now, like I said, our main point is the new age music and the jazz music, so keep that in mind. And as the night goes on, we were hoping everybody is having a good time. Tonight's things were thoughts of inspiration. And that's something everybody should have all the time. And remember, true acts of kindness are their own rewards. I know that sounds kind of hokey to some of you, but next time you're in need, you may understand that when someone comes to your rescue and helps you out, regardless if it's with a flat tire or if it's even financial, they can help you out. And you'll understand is an act of kindness can change the world. So keep that in mind. I always have. I've always wondered why more people don't do it. But life is what it is. Make the most of it. So if you just tuned in, you're listening to Radio Visions with Darrah. We're here every Friday and Saturday nights doing our live broadcast between 10 p.m. and 12 a.m. Make sure you tell all your friends to come check us out, and we will get music going soon. If you haven't been over the whole website yet, please do so. It's kind of interesting and unique. Like I said, you'll slowly start seeing some changes over the next few weeks as we start adding some advertising to the site to help pay for everything. And that's always kind of fun. And remember, if you're having a party and you haven't quite figured out what you're doing for entertainment yet, please give me a call. And we do even have a price guarantee, which if for whatever reason you think my prices are too high and you can find someone else's prices that are lower and can prove it, I will match their prices and then give you 10% off. Now all that is within reason, of course, but keep that in mind that we do have a price guarantee. And we can do shows for people as little as 5 or shows as big as 5,000. Keep that in mind as well for when you're planning your parties in the upcoming weeks and years and so on and so forth. But let us know you're out there. Let us know what you're thinking. I would like your own thoughts of inspiration. Like I said, if I can get enough of those, we'll start that webpage called Thoughts of Inspiration. We'll even give you the credit for it if you'd like. So if you email us your thoughts, make sure a name's attached to it so we can use a name. Even if it's not your real name, leave a name with it and we'll get it attached. Well, the night's starting to wind down. Things are going better for everybody out there, I hope. And I do want to thank everybody for joining us for this second Friday, our third night here live. And I would like to go out rereading one of the thoughts I have in my book that I enjoy quite often because I believe it way down inside. And it is looking at life. Look at life as a child does, and you'll never lose faith. And that one and the other one that is based on how children look at life is so remarkable how little kids can teach so much if the adults in their lives would just sit down and listen. But I know in this day and age, everybody's so busy, listening sometimes is actually, I would say, becoming a lost art, but I think it is already a lost art. Nobody really listens anymore, especially to their children, to their partners, to their spouses. And all you have to do is listen. And if you could listen and make the world a better place, the possibilities are endless. Keep that in mind as well. That you could change the world just by listening. Or by giving someone a little bit of your time and expecting nothing back. All that can change the world that we live in. It is so amazing on how little something needs to be done in order to change something huge. So keep that in mind next time you need help or someone asks for help. Keep that in mind and just give them some help. Because someday you may be in that spot where you need the help. So, like I said, if you have your own thoughts of inspiration that you'd like to share, please email them to us. Go to the Contact Us page and fill out the little email form and get it emailed to us. And we'll get them posted on the website as soon as we get a few of them in. I would really appreciate that. And if you're still looking for Christmas gifts ideas for people and you have no clue what to get them because they pretty much have everything, please consider getting them a reading in a bottle. It's a psychic reading based on someone's name, beautifully printed on gold parchment paper with a black tassel wrapped around it. And it is shipped in a hand-picked glass bottle. It's a truly timeless gift from the heart. It will last forever, and it's one of those gifts that people will remember forever and ever and ever. It is just so unique that people will remember it. And to make it even more special, if you add a photograph to your order, we can put the photograph on the parchment paper with the reading. So it would be based on not just a name on a piece of paper, but it would have their photo with their name. So it could be around for generations after generations, and it'd still be a unique piece that people would keep forever and ever and ever. So keep that in mind. Like I said, right now we are still desperately needing music so we can start broadcasting live music. And in order for us to broadcast live music, I need you to go to the website and download and print off one of the permission forms for broadcasting, fill it out, and mail it back to us with a CD. And as soon as I get enough of the CDs put together and put in, we will start broadcasting them live 24/7. And then we'll just do break-ins every so often to broadcast in between the music. So keep that in mind as well. And I do want to thank everybody that has been tuning in and listening. I do appreciate it very much. So if you have any thoughts or any ideas you would like to see happen with Radio Visions, please let us know that as well. I'll be open to those, so send us an email on those. And it will just be a spectacular time running through all the emails that I'm hoping to get in the next few days and weeks. And if you're listening to this as a rebroadcast, I can't even talk right now, as a rebroadcast later in the week, please feel free to go ahead and contact us via email. I would appreciate it. And it just gives us here at Radio Vision something to work with on the input. And like I said, if you're a musician or an artist that produces music of some kind, please download the form and mail it back with a CD so we can start sending out music. And you will get the credit for the music because we will introduce you, and so on and so forth, just like any other radio station would. So people will know who they're listening to and so on and so forth. We might even do a post page of everybody that's sent us a CD. We might even do that. That one I don't know yet, but I know we'll get them streaming out as soon as we can get enough of the music put in and done. So keep that in mind as well. Well, it is about that time, boys and girls, so I'm going to be signing off for this Friday night. I hope you enjoyed your evening. And remember, we'll be back tomorrow night from 10 to 11. And if you have any ideas for us, please email us between now and then and let us know what's going on. And y'all have a great evening and a wonderful weekend, and take care and be safe. This is Darrah from Radio Visions.